have that in mind when you discuss survey research together with Ronald. Because common method bias is commonly distributed in many studies, and maybe also in studies that he's showing to you. So think about that if the exogenous or the dependent variable and the independent variables are measured and gathered at the very same time or not. If not, at the very same time, this might be the case, and researchers have to check if there is common method bias. Also, it helps, and this is also very important for the data sources that we will discuss in the next weeks, it helps to triangulate across measurement data. Problem is that many subjective studies, like just based on interview data or just based on survey data, is very unidimensional. So you try to derive implications, very general implications for research and for practice based on one data source. So by having neurophysiological tool data, you can triangulate that. You have very different perspectives on the very same aspect. And that could be a reason to get very interesting results. Drawbacks, already mentioned some of them. I mentioned cost, I mentioned the artificial setup. In terms of, for example, the setup in terms of skin conductance. Labor-intensive data extraction takes a lot of time to gather such data. And the difficulty that's pretty much related to the neuroimaging tools, like what I've shown to you, like the different reflections in the brain, how to interpret that, and in terms of manipulation. Also, one more, and this is in terms of measurement issues, but also data extraction. And this is the reason why I provide you a short paper and a long paper. One group was able to see what my problem was with those studies. Although I'm a co-author, on both papers, I haven't done anything, and I wasn't really included. Some of the other authors, took part in one of my studies to gather data, and he made me as a co-author without asking. So the things were published, and I said, okay, fine, thanks for that, but I'm not a big fan of those two. And why? The reason is very much simple. Because I guess many groups were able to uncover that. Both papers were from the very same study, but the topic of the two papers were very different. So what happened? The colleague who was in this project, or who worked on this project, had a very different idea for the first paper, and then came up with some very different things. And you also talked about the write-up, and the reason this is a very new tool and an algorithm that performs so much better in terms of the other machine learning aspects. In fact, that was never the objective. So yes, you can sometimes be a little bit more exploratory in your approaches, but not too much. And from my perspective, a researcher shouldn't have different objectives. And the objective shouldn't be to publish as much as possible. If you're doing a study on a particular topic, try to be concise and do this topic, and not like seeing, oh, okay, that could be also an interesting viewpoint for such a study like this or that. So, although two parts of the same study, very different topics, and that was my part why I provided you the studies to see that. In terms of when you're going to Ronald's seminars, and maybe you will have to compare papers. I don't know exactly about his assignments, because mine were a little different. Always have a look about the objectives in the study, and if the objective, what researchers want to do, correspond with their approach, how they gather data, how they interpreted the data, and then how they work on the topic. All right. Okay. So that's as a providing you the background about neurophysiological tools and application. Let's jump into one particular one. And I will skip those parts where we have heard. What is eye tracking? Eye tracking is the process of measuring individuals' eye movements. And it's very important where one is looking and how long one is looking. So what are the areas of interest, the particular spots, and how long he is watching that. So they can measure attention or even reflect cognitive processes. And the reason why I think it's very fancy and a very good way of getting information about information systems and their respective artifacts, that's a quote based on Rayner. It provides you some idea to look into the mind of individuals, and this is quite right. So what do individuals really do at the moment? What catches their interest and what doesn't catch their interest? You will understand, I guess, quite later, but that's what makes it very fancy. There are different ways. We've seen it a little bit. There's eye-attached tracking. You all heard about Google Glasses. There's optical tracking. That's the most popular way how to apply eye tracking, that you have an eye tracker applied to, for example, a monitor on the bottom of a monitor that captures your gaze in the moment. And then you have the electrical potential measurement. I haven't seen that actually in real life, which really focuses on your reflections here and how those muscle fibers changes. So that provides some insights about what people should view or not. But those tools have developed. In fact, this was the past. And what I found about one of the very first eye tracking tools, this is not a joke, that what really were the initial days of eye tracking. So back in the days, like I would guess, maybe about 40 years ago, maybe 80s, something like that. Style, mustache would, I guess, maybe a good indicator for that, maybe even 80s, end of 80s. And they've done it in that way. So tools develop dramatically. And if you just compare those tools with the Google Glasses, that's huge of a difference, I guess. Why is it interesting? And we had that in one of the seminar sessions. Yes, for one hand, it's user experience research, and the other one is also where it's very interesting is marketing. And shops, for example, invest a hell of money in terms of how to where to put their stuff, where to put their goods, where to put their high-end products, where to put their low-end products, where to put their expensive products, where to put their cheap products. So they're doing a lot of studies on that, and basically many of them are just based on eye tracking to develop a store like. You will find it when you post-COVID, also Innsbruck Love stores are open at the moment, as I've heard. If you go to a store and buy some things, you could almost be sure if it's a larger chain that they have done such a study before. And because this is what we've learned. This is a scan path. So people first look there, then look there, then look there, okay, this way, and you see this one is larger. And the larger the frame of the gaze, the longer people are viewing at this particular point. Easier way would be to use so-called heat maps to see what really caught the interest of the individual. And you see here, it's this one is the viewpoint. This is what really matters most for them. And this is some kind of an HP product, I guess it's in terms of printers, where you have to put it and where you have to locate it when you put up and develop your store. There are other ones as well if you're doing that online. For example, this is an online advertisement where an individual is providing information about life insurance. And if you are doing that, if you're Allianz or Munich Re, for example, you're interested and you want to know if you want that people invest a lot of money for getting life insurance, what matters most in such advertisements? And this is the answer. We're human beings. First of all, we care about faces. We care about emotions. So this is an important part. And the other important part is, interestingly, Beitragbrechnung. So calculate the individual amounts. And this is interesting. It has two different kinds of interpretations. When we are interested in life insurance, we want to know how much it is. On the first hand side, and there could be a different interpretation as well. As you see, all of that is blue on white. And you see here, this is kind of different. There's white text on the blue button. So just it could be the explanation because it's colored differently, that people watch more there because it really catches their eye. And you'll see that I experienced in our study something similar. So color and divergence of colors also matters in terms of interface design. Where you can apply eye tracking, wow, there are numerous ways how to do so. I guess this is the I don't know, maybe that's, yeah, I guess it's the iPhone XS. So this is the iPhone that you can you unlock by just using eye tracking, by using your eyes. And this is very accurate, in fact. I've tried that together with identical twins. And the set was used for one identical twin, and you know, identical twins are based on their genomes, they're very similar. And we just recognized that the system can distinguish between them. So that was, wow, like not too bad. And kudos to Apple, this is pretty accurate in terms of that. So eye tracking is used for that. Eye tracking, I don't know how many games we have. We just discussed playing Siedler von Catan online or offline. But also, eye tracking is more used for gaming. Why important? Just to recognize, in a regular online game, multiplayer strategic online game, I don't know, where the individual is focused in a certain kind of time. And awareness and content awareness is very important in such games. And what can we see here? That the individual missed out this one. So very interesting where the focus was, and this is used by gamers to improve their gaming style. Didn't do that, and there are already some applications that are pretty less expensive. So that if you are a professional gamer, or if you want to be a professional gamer, maybe improve your game and buy an eye tracker to observe yourself. Also, and this is, I guess, much more important than improving your gaming, is there some human individuals that are not able to use their hands and to use some parts of the upper and lower body. So they just can move their head and can use their eyes. So, and using their eyes to directing wheelchairs, directing applications, directing computers is very helpful. And such kind of, we call them assistive technologies, will be even better and much better and improve the life quality of such individuals with disabilities a lot. And I guess this is by far the topic where not only talking about interface design, not only talking about marketing, talking about assistive technologies where we can expect a huge impact within the upcoming years. So if you have some money left, invest there. This is my personal recommendation. I guess there are a lot of things are going on in this particular field in the market. Okay, we heard much about the description of what eye tracking is. You can reread that part. Basically what it is, mathematical point of view, it's the vector between the pupil center and corneal reflection. So this is the way how a system gathers eye tracking, but we heard that a lot during the seminar sessions today. Also, we have seen that, how it works. A system, this is like when it's attached on the lower bottom of the system, based on infrared beam to the eye,